An hour ago, Prigozhin refused to carry out Putin's order. A military mutiny has begun in the Russian army. Prigozhin's refusal to carry out Putin's order marks the beginning of a mutiny in the military, as mentioned by Nesmian. Today Prigozhin restated his position for the second time that his Wagner PMCS fighters will not enter into any agreements with the Russian Ministry of Defense. This statement was made the very next day after Putin, the Kremlin's leader, stated in a meeting with Russian military officials that this rule now applies to all Russian military personnel and mercenaries. However, Anatoly Nesmian, a well-known Russian analyst and blogger, explains that Prigozhin's seemingly unusual statement is not strange upon closer examination. Prigozhin is not addressing Shoigu, but instead directly responding to Putin in less than a day. At first glance, it may seem strange to repeat what has already been said, but there is no oddity here. Yesterday, Putin explicitly demanded that all volunteer units must enter into such agreements. Prigozhin's response is directed not to Shoigu but to Putin. The identity of the person portraying Putin no longer matters, says Nesmian. According to him, this marks the start of an open mutiny within the Russian military. In essence, this incident can be unequivocally classified as a military mutiny, as there is no sign of disobedience, he writes. During events at a military hospital in the Moscow region, where the Russian Federation's leader and defense minister Shoigu arrived on Tuesday, Putin made a disrespectful gesture toward Shoigu, as reported by Mark Oliver Ruhl, a journalist from the German edition of Bild. Ruhl noted that Putin deliberately turned his back on a helpless Shoigu, who was left standing behind during the presentation of state awards to wounded occupiers involved in the war in Ukraine. This peculiar scene left Shoigu looking awkward. Putin humiliates his defense minister, the journalist emphasized in the publication.